before. He plays up so often, and if Flash Wolves is willing and trying to adapt the way this tourney is played, this is the path forward.
And I think the top side of the map is where you play right now for Flash Wolves. Maple, one of the few millionaires who I think can stand up against Faker as far as a 1v1 matchup, especially with champions considered. And we do think that Karsa is a great jungle as well and can match up against Peanut.
Let's start painting between them. Early gang top by the Lee Sin, gets him ahead, and then pair up with Sura, push in on level 6, go top again, camp the hell out of Huni while your bot lane hopefully sustains survives, and you don't run into that Peanut. That has to be the strategy for Flash Wolves here.
SKT don't have any guaranteed crowd control on the bot side. You can flash the bubble, you can flash the Varus ulti. That bot lane for Flash Wolves can push, and if Graves shows up, they can get away with it most likely. What's going to happen here? Flash Wolves down but not out, absolutely looking to get a revenge win over SKT and keep that LMS Pool 1 hope alive. And here we go into the game. SKT 6-0, hoping to close at the last 4. Flash Wolves hoping to keep pace with the rest of the top 4.
Yeah, Huni right now 10-0 on this Rumble, including 3 games at MSI. Definitely comfort pick, and that is only this year. And historically, he's played this champion so often. He definitely mastered it by now.
Yeah, and pay attention to the amount of pressure that Huni applies on the map in this game. I was looking at the forward percentage stats earlier, and that's the percentage of time you're above halfway in between 0 and 50 minutes, so still in the early game. Huni is on the enemy side of the map 40% of the time, which is absolutely absurd for any laner, but he's been making it work so far at MSI.
Especially considering, like, when you recall, you're forced to be on your side of the map for about 40 seconds. You have to walk back for the most part. Definitely an aggressive player. We'll see if that does get punched. Peanut right now, in his own jungle. Nice poke right there from Bang.
Quite a few pundits were looking at the WPM, the wards per minute from SKT as well, seeing significant decreases on everybody except Peanut, because Peanut's played so much Lee Sin, honestly. And part of what it has to do with it is that they don't have to base often. They're winning so hard and they're not getting pushed as hard. Like when SKT faced off against KT or any other strong Korean teams, they were challenged, at least have to match a lot of bases here to get the right time and slowly bleed out their opposition. But in these games, they can lane very often for very long times.
Yeah, interesting start as well here in waiting for an early blue buff steal.
What can achieve eventually is force up into vertical jungling, and if you have to protect a losing matchup like the Fizz and your bot lane is 5 sustain, it's actually going to mean that Karsa, even if he wants to go top, can't do it efficiently.
Yeah, and looking at this start from Karsa, does not get a good pull whatsoever from Maple. Syndra actually backs away because Faker had gone missing in the mid lane, so right off the bat, you can Flash was already getting dictated to by SKT.
Yeah, there's 2 camps on the Graves, 1 camp on the Lee Sin right now, and we only just started.
Heck, only half a camp. He didn't even finish the large draft. They're sure he gets level 2, sure he gets 60 gold out of it, but it's still ideal.
Yeah, and we've seen this go wrong before. I mean, Flash Wolves know that the blue has been stolen, so you feel a big pressure to get the enemy blue to prevent a 3. But oftentimes the Graves will kind of rush over to that side, so you can see all these things the Flash Wolves are doing to try and secure the blue buff. But really, Peanuts have field day. He cleared 2 camps, he took his time, and now he gets to full clear his vertical side.
Yeah, that's the beauty of a simple macro move where you're essentially not doing anything tricky. You're just hitting a camp, a minion that you would hit anyways somewhere else on the map, and you get a big advantage. Karma had to roam up to assist Karsa right there. They're losing lane pressure, which means Bang is not getting traded out of some CS. You know, it all kind of adds up right there.
Of course it does. Peanut is exactly 1 full camp ahead. They've taken 1 buff, 2 buffs. It's just rough stuff right now, of course. Level 3 versus level 2. It's a big lead for Peanut. Karsa trying to go as best he can.
And the nature of this Lee Sin Graves matchup, it's all about pacing, clear times, call it what you want, you know. Graves fast clears, Lee Sin has to do a couple camps and then get some ganks for true efficiency. And that was the Jet's favorite thing.
Control the blast cone.
Gotta care about the blast cone.
Bottom lane and in top lane. Fizz actually does it really easily because you can just pull over the wall and hit it, but Huni very consistently does this. Notice on the other side, blast cone hasn't been controlled, but would have an opportunity to gank if Flash was continuing to push.
He's waiting for them to push up again, obviously respecting the counter gank. Also doesn't wait around too long. The wave is in the right spot, you know what? Wait 4 seconds, is a jungle there? No, base immediately, you know. Keep up the efficiency.
And worth noting, of course, these players can usually call out when sword art or that he leaves lane to go for a ward down. You say, hey, he did push up at the turret with his teammate. He probably went over to ward that. If you saddle, it's not going to do anything for you. Don't bother. And EDP not stays on the other side of the wall and recalls safely. Now, this game is equal in gold, so despite the fact that there has been a significant out-jungling, I would say, from Peanut in the very early game, the gold basically neck and neck. Mid lane equal, bot lane equal, top lane equal as well.
We immediately see something that the Flash do well though. 2 control wards, 3-5 minutes already in inventories. These guys love combining troll wards to get area of the fog of war that then use to either put pressure on the map or just generate picks where they hide the fog of war.
Yeah, far and away the most control wards of any team here at MSI. Maple actually has on average 10 control wards per game, which is more than double that of any other mid laner. So that can be a path to victory. It hasn't worked out great for this so far.
Scar's actually placing a TP ward right there. Oh, bang is super low.
Saved on a summoner. He got gonna land the Q. Karsa, I think, predicted a juke, and Bang didn't do it. Just hits the summoner heal. He's gonna be found in that one. So pressure bot lane, but that's the flash down for Karsa.
Man, the sidestep confidence there, Bang, and also not healing at first. So he's a little bit of move speed from his heal. Gets the flash out of Karsa. Not a good trade they took in lane, but he's still on CS, and now they're going to go for a dive. MD one out of there.
He has to actually summoner TP away from the gank, and Peanut didn't have enough auto attacks left to kill him off.
Oh, imagine if he had a red failing there. That would be insult to injury right there. And again, we talked about it, how this Fizz matchup is great into Rumble with the early gank. That was the dream we were painting, and in a simple strike early on, the vertical jungle forces the gank to the bottom side, but it fails here. This is the hesitation or like the difference between a montage moment and honestly
Yeah, absolutely try and predict the flash to the other side of the turret. A lot of players when Elise flashes over the wall, I got a flash Q right away, but prediction goes wrong. Bang ends up healing and actually not really juking, he was just on his side of the turret. He stopped.
something.
Game gets done on a Faker. You saw Faker running up and left just enough to not line up with Maple's E. That gank's not gonna happen. Ghost is on, of course.
And this is difficulty when you're trying to research matchups. You can't open a Faker prop. I mean, you just can't. He'll always be at least even CS in losing matches, or he'll be a headband of me, and it's just so hard to see.
Reason's League of Legends best player and has been for years on end, basically. And everyone knows to respect him, respect his prowess, and the choice he makes, every mid laner in the world goes, maybe I should try that too. They'll always try. Everyone knows this man knows what he's doing.
Yeah, and what's interesting is Flashwolves has played against SKT for about as long as any team would have. Maple, Karsa, and Zordon actually played against SKT in the 2013 Worlds quarterfinals as the Gamma Bears, but trade in the mid lane.
Big trade at that. Baker nearly taking on Maple. Mana pool low up, but watch out. He's got 100 just now. You can't QR or do much else.
That's Flash.
Can Maple get the chase? He had Flash himself, but didn't have mana for Q to follow up, I believe, so can't go for any more.
Makes you wonder why Zordon did not elect to trade his Flash.
Yeah, if you Flash exhaust, Baker must Flash away.
And even then, there's a chance you could get the kill afterwards because Maple would have undodgeable skill shots on the way through. I agree with that. That should have been a flash for Zordon.
Then again, maybe he just like Faker without Flash, can't play safe. I don't want to overextend. I don't want to be the guy that ints because I use my Flash or else, you know, it's so hard.
Flash into Faker because Shockwave has the threat.
Oh, here comes the fish. He puts the ulti down. Layers it pretty beautiful. The kick to get him up, and that's going to be the kill picked up. Why did Huni even bother flushing? First blood Karsa.
Flash has been the story of this. Betty, though.
Speaking of flashing, why not actually hit the button, Betty?
Yeah, is this the best Nami in the world, or is this Betty not flashing in time?
It's not flashing in time. There is no reason to do not flash that bubble. Huge mistake out of Betty.
You definitely don't flash after. Uses both summoner spells, still falls, and the advantage that Flashwolves has gained in the top lane ends up being traded for an SKT and in the bot side.
But MD is still in the game here. He gets the early Sheen potential. He needs to leave his mark here. Maybe Maple can some pressure mid and roll on top. That is the win condition right now for the Flashwolves. Let's watch this again.
Yeah, Huni had for the blast cone, but at least he can just board jump over the wall. Late flash. Nice secure right there by Karsa. Watching the other side.
He has so much time. There's no way you outrun that. Not even close.
Already slowed by the Nami E. Varus just auto-attacking straight away. Great call by SKT when they knew that Zordon wasn't going to be there. It has to be either Betty further back in the first place, just wait for the wave to crash against turret, or Flash. They're getting handled in that bottom.
They are 900 gold advantage out for SKT, and that's with the fact that Flashwolves got first blood, so there's 1,000 extra gold worth of farm so far in this game, and it's clearly not in the top mid lane. Rough stuff. Bang and Wolf pretty securely League of Legends best bottom lane right now, and certainly some mistakes, but handling their opponents.
And that's what they need to do. Punish whenever the support is missing to help people deal with Faker, they will get a lead in the bottom lane. Whenever somebody goes missing or roams to deal with Huni, Faker and Bang and Wolf will take it up there. That is what SKT is strong at. You can only hit the parts, but the sum generally tends to get ahead.
Yeah, and you just have to think about the dynamic of the team. Faker has massive reputation, but Bang was the player who had the most DPM of any player in the SKT this year. He really has been the star player. Here comes another combo.
Lots of damage on to Betty, who chooses to stun the Nami and just dies for the CC chain. Beautiful ultimate from Bang. Beautiful layering by Wolf. Art in the bot lane for SKT.
Oh, that's just utter beauty. Bang with the wall shot. He hides slightly around the wall, probably in fog of war right there as the minions were approaching. Gets a straight line on Betty, and then Wolf just did the math there. Wave into flash bubble. This is just synergy at its finest. They were actually, there was a Reddit comment. I can't vouch for the validity of the quote, but they were asking why Bang and Wolf don't play duo queue anymore. Well, they played over 5,000 games together anymore. They don't even need to do this. And also, he was trying to find Bang. He found him.
Oh man, he did. That's not the way you want to.
That's unlucky.
Just really excellent play, of course. Not a lot of play to get to hide anymore. Betty now the butt of the joke. Recipient of a lot of damage now. SKT's bottom lane has certainly done well for themselves.
40 CS down.
Yeah. Flash left to find their advantage elsewhere. They got the counter pick mid. That's not working. They got counter pick top lane. They're trying to make it happen.
Yeah, I can't speak of this out of experience. You must go down 40 CS once in a while, Freak.
Oh, yeah. Feeding is how it works for me. It's very hard to come back with the fact that ST can force fights is the problem, right? If Graves shows up, you're just dead if you're on your turret. It's such a difficult situation to be in, and SKT can leverage that repeatedly. The fact that summoners are still down for Betty, no heal, no flash. It's a source of gold to mine just waiting to get a pickaxe.
Oh man, that lane is so out of control right now. Interestingly enough, Flash Wolves would want to play towards the top side of the map. Still, Hooney's flash has him down. Karsa yet to make a repeat attempt and is worried about that bottom turret just because of the amount of gold that can go over and how Bang can take over the game.
And Hooney has developed in a very good defensive player as well when the situation needs him to be. So Flash, they're trying to patch out up this bottom side here with the Lee Sin presence constantly lingering for a countering, and Hooney is just giving respect where it's due. Now he's even going to mid lane. Maple's leaning so far to the left that he may actually get surprised. He backs off.
Nice, no pain on him just yet. Had a bit of action in the mid lane. Nothing really permanent so far. See if Flash can get back to the top side. That's back for MMD. Hooney's still missing his flash, but only for a few more seconds. This means, like, that flash timer is the timer of how long it's been since Karsa's last gank top lane. It's a flashless rumble that is tower divable. It's a very squishy champion, and it's been 4 minutes since anything.
And the way pressure cascaded is really fascinating. Hooney moved to mid lane, allowing Faker to trade ultra aggressively, which people then read as like, okay, Rumble's missing, I'm gonna yield. That actually prompted an invade for Peanut to then steal away the Raptors, and because Karsa's been hugging the side for so long, these two camps on his left side, these Wolves and Gromp, has been up for absolute ages. I think Karsa has actually farmed camp in well over a minute and a half.
Yeah, he had the experience lead, but Peanut is very close to a full level ahead of him if he can get just another camp, probably get that off of Raptors. And even pacing-wise, he's not going to beat him to top lane anymore at this point either.
Flash back off school on the full 5 minutes. Didn't have mastery for Peanut just doing the farm right now. Gets revealed by a hot shot. At least Flash Wolves knows where he is, but if they can even use that information is an entirely different situation. If you're going to play for control once, doesn't see it. It's okay, it's there. I can walk top if I want to.
And I wonder if it's worth for Flash Wolves to actually swap out his tank. To go top and look for like a 3-man dive on the Rumble. The problem is when you do that against a top champion that can burn away with Equalizer, you lose to tempo. So they're so gridlocked in their current situation.
Yeah, unless they can pull off the dive right away on the Rumble, then maybe that pays off. But MMD is supposed to be winning the matchup. If you put him into a 1v2, this is terrible 1v2s compared to a Rumble. It's not a great trade if can't get the kill for it.
Yeah, they have to almost go for like the split map dive, right? Where Fizz stays, fakes, haha, I'm getting traded on, suddenly the bot lane arrives. But SKT pushes this like feeble turret over and suddenly it's over. So for Flash Wolves, they run all these scenarios to the head. They're not finding an answer.
Zach, that's the thing that SKT does to you. They have a small way of pushing their advantage, and they leave very few openings for you to get any of your ideas across the board. I'm just right there. SKT didn't go to finish the ball in turret. Flash Wolves trying to get a kill on the Wolf here.
Well, they do get Wolf. Jukes! Oh. Sonic Wave just barely. He was slowed for a bit longer, but Karsa couldn't land it, and unfortunately, not getting a lot of the ganks off just yet.
Also, his bubble timing, in case he got hit by QQ spam, the bubble would have interrupted the Lee Sin there. Like, he's really on top of his money there.
Yeah, little timings in the small jukes is something that, you know, as much praise as we heap onto SKT for their macro decision making and champion select, their ability to sidestep skill shots is the highest. Watching Jin games at Worlds was insane with SKT. They almost never got hit by Jin W.
Whenever he gets cast, it's like doing a group dance where everybody jukes to the left or the right. Like the penta jukes on Jin W's were so satisfying to watch because they know it's come. They see the cast animation, like, you know what, I don't even care if it's going to hit me. They all preemptively juke.
It's the best team in the world for a reason. Even the individual players are at worst top 3 in their role, you've got to imagine. Arrow's going to land this time onto Wolf. Plenty of damage here. Does have flash, but can he get over the wall? Yes. But Q's going to land this time around. Cars is able to secure it. Flash rolls back in the board for the first time in a while. Only 1,000 gold part, and this is certainly a much more competitive game than last time.
That's what it takes. Yeah, Wolf was actually over-invaded right there. Looked like he was trying to set up a play in the bottom lane. Didn't even get the deep vision. And this actually allows Flash to get aggressive. MMD, unanswered.
Oh, and Faker, we talked about the best players in the world, but that was not even close to that Flash being on the wall. Suddenly, large mistakes from SKT.
Yeah, and if Carson and Maple are not going to move towards MMD, well, then he comes to them. He surprises that play entirely with his fantastic teleport here.
Maybe we should
change the game.
Maybe we should hump on SKT more. The caster curse for like, man, best team in the world.
Finally!
No one does anything wrong. Several mistakes in a row now. A first turret to Flash means a gold lead. Up 500, small, but it's something.
Yeah, and Hooney, because he was respecting this matchup in the top so well, he could be in the brushes. He was actually actively pushing. So he only got about 200 odd HP off that turret.
But in typical SKT fashion, just when it seems like the other team is winning, they're not. SKT gets the turret and the bottom lane regains the gold lead. But we're going to watch this nice play.
Yeah, he checks if anybody's there. Well, turns out Fizz is, and then, yeah, you have to flash before the Fizz happens.
Yeah, he actually had about another half second on the fish to walk closer to the wall. Faker did not want to that flash. A very rare mistake we'll see from him.
Happens to the best of us, happens to the worst of us. MMD back in the lane, only though got assists. So as far as the fact that he's been part of 2 very important kills, it's been low income for him. So he hasn't really shifted his item lead over Hooney very much. As you see in Hooney's been able to actually garner gold lead and some turret damage for his matchup.
Yeah, well also the roam he made was not matched by Hooney. So Hooney got to shove about 2 full waves into the turret. Zony's Hourglass as well, defense against the fish. If MMD wants to leave again, Hooney matches, or doesn't match, the turret goes down.
It's down below half 80 right now, about 40%. SKT starting up on the mountain. Break the turning off of this one right now. No rush just yet. We'll see.
It's kind of a weak map moment for Flash when Betty was catching that wave in the bottom lane. So they're kind of outnumbered right there. Now it seems to be just an objective trade here. But SKT tunneling very hard on this dragon. I mean, Hooney hold mid, but the top lane was under pressure. So the cross map could be maybe going top.
We look for Hooney. He's going to pop Zonius to get rid of the unleashed power, but there's still going to be enough unleashed here. Carson takes the kill. Speak for him with the Q in the lane.
And this is big addition to that turret for Dragon Trade right now. There's a kill on top, plus there's a 4-man seat building in middle lane, and there is no tower left in the bot lane to trade.
And this allows Flash Wolves to actually force SKT into some bad decisions because they can take full control of that top side of the map, and there will be a flashless defender in that lane because Orianna can side lane, but it's not a great side laner. So it's not like they have a little Blanc they sub into that top lane that is less vulnerable. This is a thing that Flash Wolves can actually play around here.
Not going to stick for turret damage, though. Could have gotten some autos off. MMD, though, burned his mana pool just to push the wave in and let them do a little bit of chip. 4 Flash Wolves are coming in, though.
Bait is being set up here.
It's because they have the vision control up in that top side right now. They can see anyone coming through the jungle. And that works even to catch the people coming through the lane.
There's Wolf. They know it's 2 exactly. There's 3. They know how many are defending. Can they play? Not going to land the stun. That turret dangerously low, but they don't go for the kill on it just yet. Flash Wolves back off.
A little hesitation there. MD wanted to do the tempo play, which was basic, but then technically this turret could fall on.
But if someone made that call 3 seconds earlier, hey, we're going to go this play, that turret dies.
Yes.
So a missed call is the reason that turret is not dead right now. And now Benny chased down by Hooney, flashing away. He's not going to make it out of this one, I don't think. He's trying to run, and actually he's going to be fun. Hooney does not want to turn the ulti up.
You can actually W flash on Ashe. That's actually what happened there. Betty wanted to W to Hooney, then flash away. But he actually aimed it a different way because he W flashed.
Luckily for Hooney, luckily for Betty, the equalizer was just barely on cooldown. But whenever you're flashing away from Rumble harpoons, you have to actually flash the harpoon. The fact that he got hit by one flash and hit by the other, just flash during the cast time. Betty has not been playing well this game. 2 fairly poor flashes.
Yeah, it feels like he's trying to watch the other side of the map where he needs to send his arrow, his small shots, and then constantly gets surprised. He walked up for vision and got the Varus ulti in his face. Right now he got surprised by Huni. He also, as the map opens up, he's constantly catching these sideways. Look where Betty is right now. Look where the rest of the teams. He very much so seems to be kind of just put into this lineup as an additional AD carry rather than being a true part of the team.
Well, unfortunately, he's playing Ash. Hawkshots at least are helpful and help get vision for the team and do something else across the side of the map. Maybe the arrows can end afterwards. As far as champs believe, alone Ash is one of the best, but you're right, Betty is certainly not part of the core of the team that has been doing all the work. Lowest KP on the team and all the deaths.
Now we're also looking at the way Flash was beat SKT in the past. It was built on a good foundation of vision. They're looking to neutralize SKT, find out what they're doing early. They're doing the right moves all the time, but if you figure them out early, there's always a counter.
Exactly, and I think a little bit of it is just happenstance that Flash Wolves does have a better record against SKT than many teams, but the vision control is very real for Flash Wolves. When they do get mid-game, and it's not even thinking about late game where sometimes they wait too long for the perfect play, but mid-game control war, vision denial, or sweeping, even in the past, they have been better than at that than any other team. So SKT makes such good decisions, but if you don't have the information to make the decision, then you finally force them to guess, and that's some of the ways that Flash Wolves have taken down SKT.
Well, so you can make the guesswork keep going then. Flash Wolves look to get Vision back, looking at both sides real quick. Flash Wolves with deep boards, but SKT really none either. Only Vision on their own side of the map.
And this is macro and hardware right now, because both teams are running a 4-1 competition on an open map, which means you need to send people to lanes that don't want to go there. Sword Art narrowly avoids that wave.
All right, that's going to be an ultimate down and a fairly important one for SKT.
And that's why we see the buddy system. Bang can't go top alone, so he needs somebody with him. These 1-3-1s that we always talk of, they become 1-1-3s.
Flank.
4-1 compositions. We have a fight.
MMD wants to get a fight there. Bang is very far on the side, so is Wolf now in the jungle. Can they get the Shark on for max range? Looks for the shot, going to miss it though. The TP turns into just walking away.
Yeah, good move by Wolf there. Incredible patience and also a lot of respect from Carson. Didn't even try to land the Sonic Wave because he thought Wolf would juke it or flash. He was hoping for the fish to land.
Yeah, that top lane turret that Freak was talking about earlier, if that went down, there was actually an alternative path possible for a Fizz, you know, at least a pivot during movement.
Yeah, we're not going to be that case there. Of course, Betty also didn't shoot the arrow out. Maybe you look for that when the team is going for the dive on Nutty. Shoot it out, right? I feel like there's some upside there for that one. Now towards the bot side we go. MMD wants it on Mooney, can't find any of the skill shots just yet. And of course, Shark it down as well. Not a lot to just yet. There is the arrow. It's gonna hit nothing actually. Side steps with Faker. MD gets the shield, looks for the front line damage, but again, with no Shark doesn't get much shockwave. Hits the front line, doesn't mean a lot there either. Now Maple is in, have to wait on the exhaust. They didn't go to unleash power. Will they go for Wolf? Yes, they do. Get the picked off now into Hootie. Nice kick back onto Peanut. That's going to be 2 for 0 so far. Hootie's next up for the chopping block. Can they get number 3? The slow is there. Yes, we do.
SKT was in a 4v5 that entire time, so Hootie always wanted to apply pressure but pushes up and overstays, and the rest of SKT get caught trying to do that, but they still get a ton of turret damage.
Yeah, tons of minions here going towards. Bang is going to finish up that turret off as well, but we still need to look at how the game is progressing here. Bang needs to be careful.
Lee Sin's not terribly far behind, but Sword Art can't really duel Bang. Karsa's still coming though. Karsa does have boots too, but there's a lot of moves on Bang. He's got Zeal and boots, so I think he gets away.
Yeah, there's also Faker in the river.
Yeah.
We need to keep an eye on MD now. What can he do against Huni? So he's picking up a lot of gold in this fight, so a lot of the gold went to Bang here. Really good carry efficient in team fights. This is the persistence from Flash. They realize they're in a fight for and they power on through.
Exactly, they know that Hooney's very low, can't get much off in that fight, and when Big Shockwave is down, it blows the threat, but nearly getting a pick in the jungle.
Some damage there. No really major coolness burn though. Neither ults from Faker nor Karsa. Wolf puts down the tidal wave. Okay.
Flash was to play with a lot of respect though, because while Fizz is fit to rumble, bot lane there's a teleport advantage currently available on
running out. His kill score is 7-2. Gold is practically identical right now. The fact that SKT are up a turret rate now is a pretty important one, but one more turret does finally fall. Looks like that was in the top lane as minions chunked that one out. Yeah. Makes it back to 3-3.
And SKT being down and kills close in gold is almost always the case because they played the map so well. But bring down the gold advantage. It's a 1,000 gold lead for MMD, a 1,500 gold deficit for Betty. So Bang is in a position to keep trying to turn on in this game. Phantom Dancer completes as well as QSS another way to the next item. You can see nearly 10,000 gold to 24.
But it's a breaking point. Macro-wise, hang on, here's another arrow, but gets caught, QSS.
Critical breaking point to have pitched at that point.
Yeah.
That's gold leads working for you right there. If you get the same gold Betty, he doesn't have that item.
At the same time, Betty can still find utility while being down gold. And it's all up to the Flashers right now to get Huni in a lane with MMD and then remain or keep out of the 4v4 neutral and have MMD pressure out, but they haven't really been able to play around it too much in this game.
They haven't just yet. We'll see if something more comes out of it. Betty on way towards the Quicksilver Sash, maybe Hex Drinker as time goes on. I'd personally like Hex Drinker based on the fact that it's more damage coming out of it, but it's an Orianna and a Rumble. Let's see, but we'll see. Faker holds onto the top wave. Quick Drake pickup for Flash Wolves means they're up in Infernal overall, tied on Mountains.
Yeah, but they lose kind of the push in the other two lanes. That's always how this goes. Like, you make a play somewhere, take the minions somewhere else, and they can get some vision or some pressure. But now Huni has to flash in his bot lane, and MMD, finally, this pressure is mounting up.
Yeah, it's impressive as well that MD is having this side lane performance. They got to pick the good matchup. Once again, SKT just blindly pick a top laner, but this time, unlike last time Warriors Fiora and Nautilus, Flash Wolf had the answer, and it is working out pretty well for him.
Ooh, look at the creative player. Bang is lingering, shadowing for Huni, and MMD respects it enough. That is also what you have to do. SKT, they're so good at moving the lanes constantly over and over, so you can't fall into a pattern of expectations.
As you can see, this is not able to steal the blue away, kind of pretty securely. See if they can rotate somewhere else.
Yeah, again though, with Huni down there and Bang showing, Ruffles get tremendous control of the Baron area. They also have the Mountain Drake, so even though they don't have tremendous Baron, that Baron goes down a lot faster.
Yeah. And that is the beauty played at the highest level. It's at this point that you're not even watching the screen, you're just watching the minimap. 2 dots go bot lane, there's only 3 max in the top side. Your Flash will have forward there, they get an advantage, whether it's camps, vision, the implied Baron. There is so much going on at the same time, and these are constantly changing up.
Flash is also in a point in the tournament at 2-4 up against SKT. They really want to get those wins. They're on the brink of not being able to make the top 4, but win against SKT when no one else had been able to scratch them would be tremendous.
A lot for your confidence, and especially with the fact that, again, you expect most teams lose to SKT. Like, if Flash rolls 2-5 after this game, it's, well, they had the hardest schedule. They played SKT in the second round robin early on. There's still room ahead of them. Get this win here, they're 3-4 with no SKT to play left until the playoff stage. Maybe they are in a good spot, and again, keeping that pretty important.
All right, step 1, they pushed out mid. They're moving into the river now. Look at the 3-man squad reactionary from SKT. Not one, buddy, but 2 you bring. But then there's the flank on Maple. Creative pathing here, challenging. Not allowing SKT to simply push that top lane.
SKT actually on the back foot. Look where the wards are, look where the players are on the mini-map, as you mentioned. When SKT's catching waves at their turrets, that means they're not in position to force plays.
Yeah, they hang on right now, so they move Huni from up to mid. So that obviously makes the 5v4 stronger there. Flashers have to yield. So right now, Flashers top side is in defensive position, waiting for MND to put pressure. Once Huni catch that wave, that's when they'll strike back. Hopefully, some of that vision still remains for them.
See the vision can stay up, though, despite wave pressure back and forth. SKT just taking away as much gold as they can, and especially in games that have been a bit slow paced, where it's 9 kills in 28 minutes, efficiency really is very important. It's where you get most of your gold. The jungle camp dying on respawn, minion waves not dying to turrets, you're catching them in time, and if you get chunked out, you miss 120 gold worth of minions when it's pushed away. Now look at the play. Nice dash by Peanut to get away from the ward hop, but there's the arrow. The stun on Faker, and he's been deleted. No ulti available. Wolf next up. The Shark is in. That was nicely played. 2 for 0. They got in control again.
They're going for Baron right here because Huni canceled his teleport. He has Equalizer here. There may be a bait and switch. There's no vision in the pit.
SKT can make it to defend. They just put another ward down, but it is so difficult to expect the Equalizer to fly through. Will Flash was finishing the appeal.
There's no vision though. They could even hide in the pit right now. Peanut has to face check.
6,000 health, that's what SKT saw. There's enough time, they don't need much for it. And Flash Wolf, will they stay on this one? They are going to try, they do good damage, but Peanut's in range. Gotta respect this though. Flash Wolf squander the lead.
So much patience from Huni, not equalizing, but so dangerous too. They have to guess how low the Baron is because they didn't have vision, but that whole time.
They got one glimpse of 6,000. In the middle of that, they saw, okay, it's not in might range, we can cut away again.
They knew it started with the blue trinket, and the Graves walked up. It's just, this was a beautiful dance from both these teams. I love the spec that's going back and forth.
Bang's down in the ball lane, Huni's top with no AP. Peanut doesn't have anybody to come check with them.
It's a fake out. It's a bait and switch. The Flashers, they fit their base. Now Peanut, he has to figure out what's going on. He knows they're in the pit because he saw the wall.
In hell, they're going to kick him out. He might just die to the Shook. Now, is there going to be a steal? There's no chance. Absolutely perfect by Flash Wolves. Couldn't have been better. Baron.
Flash Wolves struggled to finish Baron earlier in the tournament against G2. That was beautiful against SKT, the entire sequence.
Oh, they're so on top of the information here. Look, the push wave we were talking about. Who he catches? Well, instant reaction. Betty's behind in goal, but it doesn't matter. He finds Faker in this fight. MMD single-handedly wins the backline.
Arrow into Stone Chain, or the other way around between Maple. But that type of CC controls got Flash Wolves hyped up.
But then the fact that they don't get sucked into the hype. They don't. Peanut knew that they were in the pit. So Carson, he does the smartest play ever, goes out and kicks in.
Yeah, first Baron, SKT has conceded this entire MSI. So now it's about whether or not Flash Wolves can use it and how can SKT use it, because they still have tremendous zone control with the rest of their team composition.
This game feels like every game Flash Wolves wins against SKT. They're doing middlingly at group stage, and then somehow they just played SKT's level. Minor mistakes here and there, yes, there have been some mechanical ones, but Flash Wolves playing appropriately, playing properly. MMD split pushing well, 3-0-2, and he's been terrible in so far. And Flash Wolves can keep this level of up. They can.
And forces SKT, look, made that decision without having very much vision control, completely abandoning jungle because the controls of Flash Wolves are right there. And MMD has really been the key, because that was a huge thing missing from Flash's play.
And how flexible is he? So many top lanes would go top here, go for the hard push on tier 2, because that's their role, right? The split pusher, he goes top, joins mid to give assistance, to give the guarantee that Flash Wolves as a team can take bot lane tier 2.
And Flash Wolves need to keep making good choices. You can never count SKT out in this game. There's a reason they're 6-0. There's a reason the best team in the world. 1.5 minutes done. They're in the lead, only 3,000. How much more can Flash Wolves get with this power play?
Have to keep track of Faker's Orianna ball, because he likes to hide it in back and forth fights and then pull the trigger.
So threatening with that shockwave. It's why it's his most played champion of all time. He will always have the opportunity to make him play with it, but Flash Wolves have taken down SKT before.
See if they can do it here. A lot of Magic Pen is available for Faker. Ash splitting in the bot lane right now. MMD near the flank, but again, you don't want to die without your bot laner around, but it creates space though. The threat of the MMD dot has pushed SKT away, and that's the turret going down.
Yeah, but that's what they're doing. They're just playing it so slow, and they're going for a rotation top side. This is beautiful. Slow push top, catch it.
Great ulti.
Deal bot lane. No, if you buff them.
And MMD was smart, exactly. Melee minions get significant damage reduction with the Baron buff on them. Jumps forward, they get the stun. The Peanut, the Shark is there. He's gonna die for this one. SKT probably should not have defended a turret to be 5. That is a mistake, and it's gonna be Flash Wolves getting the turret picked up.
Absolutely, SKT not keeping up with that turret rotation. Peanut alone from the rest of his team. Wolf not close to help heal with Nami.
Oh, and I love this iteration of lane switches. It was MMD in the top lane that initially pushed his wave. He went to catch mid while his team was bot. They didn't go 5-man mid because it's easy to hold that. They kept bot lane, use that pressure, switch it top lane while somebody was dealing with it, and now they're hit a base 5v4.
Now Huni has no equalizer. Peanut's not even alive. Flash Wolves is just running right into the base.
15 seconds from the jungler, inhibitor turret is gone. When can SKT get themselves up? The kick back on a Faker. He's gonna flip, but he's still dead. That's 11-2 with kills, and Flash Wolves looking to close out if they can do it. Peanut just now back live, but it's still a 5v4. Baron buff on and sending out soon enough. This one's gonna be Flash Wolves going to the reset, but now they're up 6,000 gold.
And a mistake from Faker, do not flash in time. You gotta respect Karsa's lead in here. If he closes in, he will try to kick flash you, and you can't react, because when you get kicked, that's a frame where you're locked out.
Karsa making so many plays, as he somehow seems to do against Faker on the national stage. It's like an SKT buff, but they're still needing to close this game. They're playing at such a high level right now.
SKT have only found 2 kills and 3 turrets in this game. So while their moves were so solid, it's almost like it passed by us here. Only 2 deaths on Betty, and everybody else is deathless.
Watching this one more time, SKT just didn't have a good way of defending, but watch Karsa right here, just a tiny little ward jump before flash kicking Faker, and then Sword Art immediately with the W, even after Faker would flash. They are safe to blow everything on him because Huni has no equalizer at this point in the game.
How excited Flash Wolves are about this. They know they've had a mediocre tournament, but now Taking a game against the best team in the world spells so many good things for your future.
And the group stage is 5 days long with 2 games a day. You need to be able to not tilt, and that's what this Flash Wolves team talked about. They've been together for so long. The core of this team, Carson Maple, sort of over 4 years. They've won, they've lost, they've been through it. So that's why they wanted to stay calm, find a way to adapt to the tournament meta. Get a shielding support. They didn't win, but mainly get that top priority. SKT disrespected them and dared them with that early pick rumble, and Flash Wolves have responded with the pick and also with their in-game play.
And they squeezed out a 5,700 gold Baron power play against SKT, a team that knows how to defend and minimize their losses. When they do make those few mistakes, they're far in between. What if that performance, even if Flash will somehow lose track here, they've done great things this game.
You can't let this game go. If you lose this one, I think you actually are so heartbroken, because there's got to be so much faith and happiness in your heart right now. You're Flash Wolves or Flash Wolves, and you're like, we're beating SKT, just don't screw up, and oh baby, it's going to be great. And if it does slip, I feel like you are so shattered. The likeliness is slow. Sorry, the likelihood is very low. I misspoke, but they are in such a position.
Yeah, with Baron buff up again in 50 seconds and double mountain for Flash Wolves, the threat of the Baron does insert a sense of panic in SKT when they're trying to check the pit. It's also interesting how most teams go with double scrying orb at this point of the game. They're actually triple sweeper on SKT. They're so concerned about being seen by wards that they're kind of giving up their vision.
Yeah, they're putting the goal or the direction here to keep their jungle defended with the multiple supers in different iterations. The problem is they have a hard time base checking it. Look at Flash as well. Right now they're condensed. As 5, they're getting top junk control, but I would love to see MMD now move to the bottom side of the map and push there and put pressure as it's just.
Splits up soon enough for Flash to just keep everyone together. And just decide to never have the chance to be split up.
They also have a very few control wards. Some of these guys are maxed out in items. For example, there's a potion on Maple. Apparently he still has that biscuit. No control ward there.
Yep. The SKT coming down through mid lane, looking into the river. Look, SKT does want to get touched on this Baron. MMD is making it. He's getting some MR and armor shredded off as well.
If SKT are ever going to fight their way back into this would be it.
And walks into tank it. The QSS and the Shark's not going to land either.
Such a smart move right there by Bane. A flashless AD stepping in front of Ash here because he has killed him. But now that is down, and there are other ways Flash Wolves can initiate.
But now the D-Tom is actually moving in Flash Wolves' favor, because look at the top lane. Minions are amassing. While usually 5v5 is great if you don't have side lane pressure, SKT need to deal with top lane somehow.
So Huni's recalling. There are some wards around. Carson waiting in the wings. Sees Peanut. Decides he's not going to go for the fight just yet. Huni just going to clean it in the base, and they're giving time for it.
He still does teleport, though. SKT need to get a good ward down from the TP on. He can come behind that.
Finishing it.
Beautiful by Carson. Gets him away, gets him back, and it gets him out. Nicely done. Kicks Peanut, gets a smite now on the wall. Just smite it down by the other power of Maple.
And Jack was right on the money. There weren't enough scrying orbs to get vision. There was no knowledge here, and because it's so late in the game, could easily tank that Nashor. Huni is playing janitor in a base, but they've lost their support.
And the gameplay by Maple there, 7 orb ultimate, just straight up one-shots Wolf in the end. Now Baron in a 5v4, they got a Faker.
Target a Faker, plenty of damage, shot by sometime because it's not a lot done. Carson still wants in, he's sneaky enough. 5v4, they've got the middle inhibitor down.
Now look at the discipline here. MD was called back by his team. They just said, no, focus in it first. Another arrow back, no QSS.
No QSS done, is in the damage up, puts in, gonna knock down the bot laner. Huni's next up on it, and he's gonna pop Zonia's, and he's gonna die for this. Not even a chance of getting out. And Flash Wolves have done it. They have taken down SKT. They have handed them their first loss of the mid-season invitational. Maple game plays one more down, and then Flash Wolves giving up only 2 kills the entire game, improved to 3 and 4, and take down the best team in the world.
And what a huge victory for Flash Wolves. It's one thing to take down SKT, but also in the context of the struggles they have been having in this tournament. They were 2 and 4 coming into this game, and SKT were looking like gods. They take down and improve to 3 and 4.
Literally goosebumps. So many moments of greatness. It started in picks and ban. They got the fizz. They